Hello, everyone. If you take prescription medication and you are on Medicare, there is one letter you need to look for before the year ends. It is not junk mail. It is not just paperwork. It may tell you whether the drug you rely on every month will cost the same, cost more, or require new approval next year. And the dangerous part is this. Your plan may still say the drug is covered, but that does not always mean it will be covered at the same price. Please like this video, share it with a parent, neighbor, or friend on Medicare, and subscribe to this channel. Medicare changes are not always explained clearly, and one missed notice can cost seniors hundreds of dollars. That is the part I want you to remember. A drug can still be covered, but that does not mean it will cost the same. It does not mean your pharmacy will still be the cheapest place to fill it. It does not mean your deductible will stay the same, and it does not mean your plan will approve it the same way next year. This is where many seniors get caught, not because they did anything wrong, not because they failed to take care of their health, not because they ignored their medicine, but because Medicare drug plans change every year and the letters explaining those changes are often confusing, long, and easy to mistake for ordinary paperwork. So the letter comes in the mail. It may be thick, it may have your plan name on it, it may say something like annual notice of change, and a lot of people look at it and think, I already have my plan. I already take my medicine. Nothing important is changing. Then they put it in a drawer, or they throw it away, or they tell themselves they will read it later, but January comes. They walk into the same pharmacy they have used for years. They ask for the same medication. The pharmacist enters the same Medicare drug plan information, and suddenly the price is not the same. Maybe the copay went up. Maybe the medication moved to a higher tier. Maybe the plan now requires prior authorization. Maybe the pharmacy is no longer preferred. Maybe the drug is still covered, but the rules around it changed, and the senior says, nobody told me. But the plan did tell them. It was in that letter. That is why this matters. Today we are going to talk about the Medicare drug plan letter you should never ignore, the section you need to check first, the changes that can cost you real money, and what you should do before the deadline passes. Because if you take medication every month, this is not just paperwork. This is about whether your prescription stays affordable. And for seniors living on Social Security or a fixed income, a surprise drug cost is not a small inconvenience. It can affect groceries. It can affect utilities. It can affect whether you refill on time. It can affect whether someone starts cutting pills, skipping doses, or delaying a medication because the price suddenly became too high. That is the situation we want to avoid. The first thing you need to understand is that Medicare drug plans are allowed to change from year to year. Many seniors believe that once they choose a Part D plan or a Medicare Advantage plan with drug coverage, the plan stays basically the same unless they personally change it. But that is not how it works. Your plan can change its premium. It can change its deductible. It can change its copays. It can change the list of covered drugs. It can move a drug from one pricing tier to another. It can add restrictions. It can change which pharmacies give you the lowest cost. And all of that can happen even if you stay with the same plan, same doctor, same medication, and same pharmacy. That is why the letter matters. The document is usually called the Annual Notice of Change. That is the phrase to look for. Annual Notice of Change. It is the letter your Medicare drug plan sends to explain what will be different in the next plan year. And if you take prescriptions every month, this may be one of the most important pieces of mail you receive all year. Because inside that notice, your plan may tell you whether the medication you depend on is changing cost, changing tier, changing restrictions, or changing pharmacy rules. The problem is that the letter is not written the way seniors actually need it explained. It does not usually say in big letters, your blood pressure medication may cost more next year, or your diabetes medication may need approval before we pay for it, or your pharmacy may no longer give you the lowest price. Instead, it may use words like formulary, tier, coinsurance, deductible, preferred pharmacy, prior authorization, quantity limit, and step therapy. And if nobody has ever explained those words to you, it is very easy to miss the part that affects your wallet. So here's the question I want you to ask when that letter comes in. Do not only ask, is my drug covered? Ask, Is my drug covered the same way next year? That is the difference, because a medication can still appear on the covered drug list, but move from a lower tier to a higher tier. That means it is still technically covered, but your copay may be higher. A medication can still be covered, but require prior authorization. That means your doctor may have to send extra information before the plan agrees to pay. A medication can still be covered, but require step therapy. That means the plan may want you to try a different, often cheaper medication first before approving the one you already take. A medication can still be covered, but your pharmacy may no longer be the preferred pharmacy. That means the same prescription at the same pharmacy may cost more simply because the pharmacy network changed. This is why seniors get surprised. They hear the word covered and assume everything is fine. But with Medicare drug plans, covered does not always mean affordable. Covered does not always mean simple. Covered does not always mean same price. And covered this year does not always mean covered the same way next year. So before you throw away that letter, before you assume nothing changed, before you wait until the pharmacy counter to find out, you need to check it carefully. Because once the new plan year begins, the change is already in place. And by then, your options may be limited. Now, the first section you need to check in that Medicare drug plan letter is the part that talks about your covered drugs. Some letters may call this the formulary. That word simply means the list of medications your plan agrees to cover. And I know that word sounds technical, but the question you are asking is very simple. Are the drugs I take every month still covered next year, and are they covered the same way? That second part matters, because a drug can still be on the formulary, but the cost can change. A drug can still be covered, but it may move from a lower tier to a higher tier. A drug can still be covered, but the plan may add a new rule before they pay for it. So when you open that letter, do not try to read every page like a lawyer. Start with your real life. Write down the medications you actually take. Your blood pressure medication, your diabetes medication, your cholesterol medication, your heart medication, your inhaler, your eye drops, your pain medication, whatever you refill month after month. Then compare those medications against what your plan says is changing next year. That is where you may find the problem before it becomes expensive. The next thing to check is the drug tier. Most Medicare drug plans place medications into pricing levels called tiers. A lower tier usually means a lower copay. A higher tier usually means a higher cost. So if your medication moves from Tier 1 to Tier 2, or from Tier 2 to Tier 3, or from a preferred brand tier to a non-preferred brand tier that can change what you pay every time you refill it. And many seniors miss this because the drug is not removed from the plan. It is still there. It is still covered, but it is now in a more expensive position. That is why the word covered can be misleading. Covered does not always mean cheap. Covered does not always mean same price. Covered does not always mean easy to fill. The third thing to check is whether your plan added a rule like prior authorization, step therapy, or a quantity limit. Prior authorization means your doctor has to send information to the plan before they approve the medication. Step therapy means the plan may require you to try a different medication first before they cover the one you are already taking. A quantity limit means the plan may limit how much of the medication they will cover in a certain period. These rules can create delays. And for seniors who need medication every month, a delay is not just an inconvenience. It can mean going without medicine. It can mean making extra phone calls. It can mean waiting for your doctor's office to send paperwork. It can mean standing at the pharmacy and being told, your plan will not approve this yet. That is why you want to find out now, not when the refill is already due. The fourth thing to check is your pharmacy network. This is one of the most overlooked parts of Medicare drug plans. A lot of seniors stay with the same pharmacy for years. They trust the pharmacist. They know the location. They know the staff. They know exactly where to go. But your plan may treat pharmacies differently next year. One pharmacy may be called preferred. Another may be called standard. And that difference can change your prescription cost. You may be able to get the same drug under the same plan at a lower cost simply by using a preferred pharmacy. Or the pharmacy you use this year may no longer have the same pricing arrangement next year. So when you read that letter, Do not only check the drug, check the pharmacy. Ask your plan. Is my pharmacy still preferred next year? And ask, would this medication cost less at a different pharmacy under my plan? That one phone call can save people money, especially if they take several medications every month. The fifth thing to check is the deductible. Some Medicare drug plans have a deductible, which means you pay the full negotiated cost of certain drugs until that deductible is met. If the deductible changes next year, your cost at the beginning of the year may feel very different from what you were paying at the end of this year. This is why January surprises so many people. They refill the same prescription and suddenly the price feels wrong. But sometimes it is not a mistake. It is the deductible resetting, or the deductible increased, or the drug now applies to the deductible when it did not before. That is why the letter matters before the year begins. Now here is what you should do if you find a change. Do not panic. Do not stop taking your medication. Do not simply accept the higher price without asking questions. First, call your Medicare drug plan and ask them to explain the change in plain English. Use this exact question. What will I pay for this medication next year at my current pharmacy? Then ask, would I pay less at a preferred pharmacy? Then ask, is there a lower cost alternative on the formulary that I can discuss with my doctor? And if the medication now requires prior authorization or step therapy, call your doctor's office before the new year starts. Tell them, my Medicare drug plan says this medication may need approval next year. Can we prepare for that now? That is the difference between being prepared and being stuck at the pharmacy counter. Now, if the changes are serious, you may need to compare plans during Medicare Open Enrollment. That window is important. Medicare Open Enrollment runs from October 15th through December 7th. During that time, you can review your Medicare drug coverage and make changes for the next year if another plan fits your prescriptions better. This is not something you want to do casually. Do not choose a plan only because the premium looks low. A low monthly premium does not always mean the lowest total cost. You have to look at the medications you actually take, the pharmacy you actually use, the deductible, the copays, the restrictions, and the total yearly cost. You can compare plans at Medicare.gov. You can call 1-800-medicare. You can also contact your state's free Medicare counseling program, often called SHIP, if you want help understanding your options. And if you are on several medications, this review is worth doing every single year. Because your health may not change. Your doctor may not change. Your pharmacy may not change. But your plan can change anyway, so here is the full picture. If you receive a Medicare drug plan letter, do not throw it away. Look for the annual notice of change. Check whether your medications are still covered the same way next year. Check the drug tier. Check for prior authorization, step therapy, and quantity limits. Check whether your pharmacy is still preferred. Check whether your deductible or copay is changing. And if something looks different, call the plan, call Medicare, or compare options before the open enrollment deadline. Because the worst time to find out your prescription changed is when you are standing at the pharmacy and need the medication that day. If this video helped you, please like it, share it with someone on Medicare, and subscribe to this channel. One letter in the mail can change what a senior pays for medicine next year, and one conversation could help someone avoid a bill they never saw coming. I'll see you in the next one.